Alright. A voice that conjured the image of an excited puppy bounding up to you, its tail wagging, interrupts my scrutiny. Just when the voice's owner is about to spring on us, though, she suddenly freezes in place with a flustered expression. Oh no, I forgot to try out the trendy new surprise greeting that's all the rage nowadays. Salaman Pagi? Or Salaman Pagi. Is that the one? Is that the greeting from Nichijou? The weird greeting that character used? For whatever reason. Anyway. A bit late for that now. Don't look, Noretta, you didn't see me! Didn't do the greeting yet. Though she clearly doesn't follow, Noretta obediently complies with Lorona's instructions. Yeah, she even has green eyes. It really does look like Monica. Again, from DDLC. Alright. Romping behind her, Lorona throws her hands around Noretta's eyes. Who is it? It went dark. Guess who it is? Guess who it is? Yeah, I don't know. Object permanence is something you would develop when you're an infant, Noletta. I guess it's like peekaboo. I'll give you a hint, Noletta. Again, that meme thing, I don't know what you call it. There's a name for it. I don't know what it is. I'll give you a hint, Noletta. It starts with an L and ends with an A. Oh, and you love eating it. Eating it? Starts with an L, ends with an A, and is yummy. Lasagna? Don't turn me into a pasta casserole. Lasagna. Paying Lorona no heed, Noletta takes hold of one of the hands covering her eyes and stuffs it into her mouth. No. Don't eat me. It's Lorona, I tell you. Lorona flails in panic as Noletta latches on with her teeth. Now she will eat you alive. Oh no. Meet Lorona. Though she might strike you as the type of airhead that gets lost tottering after butterflies, she's quite responsible, though not necessarily reliable, individual that is the president of the literature club. Okay guys, I gotta stop making references to DDLC. I'm sorry, she just looks like Monica. Despite being only 15, she is a talented textile artisan that helps support the orphanage she calls home with her earnings. It's a wonder she has... Don't just stand there narrating. Do something, eh? You can see the narration? Yeah. Anytime to sleep between helping care for the children, or anytime to sleep between helping care for the children, her craft, and school. If I were to describe her in a short title, it would be Unreliable Moral Compass. What kind of title is that? Doesn't taste like lasagna. After coming to the conclusion that Lorona was indeed not lasagna, Noletta finally lets go. Trying to eat people is bad, okay, Noletta? Okay. Anyways, good morning, lasagna. It's Lorona, not lasagna. You're confusing her, Aid. Good morning, lasagna. I'm having an identity crisis. She is now lasagna. She's literally lasagna. There. I give lasagna a pat on the noggin. Pat. As she curls up and cradles her head. If it makes you feel better, you go pretty well with garlic bread. Yeah. With a sad sound like air escaping the balloon, lasagna deflates into the ground. That's her new name. She's just lasagna. Well, nothing to see here. Though Noletta seems curious about lasagna's newly acquired two-dimensional state. I'm sorry. Two-dimensional state. As she follows after me as I make to leave the scene. I'm not gonna... Anyway. I'm not gonna do the thing. Because it spoils... Anyway, but even mentioning it is a bit of a spoiler anyway of the other game that I mentioned before. Anyway, together, the two of us enjoy a nice relaxing stroll to the school. Now just leave me behind. As the three of us travel alongside a stream that winds towards our destination, we happen upon a dead wayfarer. A dead wayfarer? Oh no, well, he doesn't look dead. Come on, Triss. Canoe at the ground some other time. A displeased girl could be seen impatiently tapping her foot beside the corpse in question. I guess she's not dead. It's the... something else? I assume roadkill? It was easy to see why he had succumbed. An absurd amount of project gear was strapped to his back. Okay, so he's not actually dead. It's just a hyperbole. Enough that it practically buried his prone figure. Ah, poor Triss. You shouldn't rush him since he's carrying off your stuff too, Kalia. He's just carrying my usual bag. The rest is junk I told him to leave behind. He always brings a bunch of garbage we never actually use whenever we have projects. Jeez. As Lorona begins liberating Triss from his burden, Noletta crouches down next to his body and stretches out her hand. Her hand halts as the body in question suddenly stirs and rises to its feet. It's alive. It's a zombie, oh no! Watch out, Noletta! Eat your brains! Zombie? It's a reanimated corpse that likes eating people's brains. Trying to eat people is bad, Mr. Zombie. Faced with Noletta's inexplicable admonishment, Triss seemed at a loss. I hope you enjoyed your nap. Those two were the 11-year-old Lyra twins, Kalia and Tristan. Though we make an effort to walk to school together, the Lyras were habitually late, making today a rare occurrence where all 5 of us were present. As for why Triss was carrying Kalia's bag in addition to his own load, well, it was simple. Kalia had no arms to speak of below the elbows. No, below the elbows. That's interesting. Wounds from the fire collapse that befell 9 years ago, there are many in Sogotrin who bore similar disfigurations. Fire, a big fire that I guess I assume killed and injured a lot of people in this area. How tragic. And also, yeah, it's kind of I didn't see it first. Yeah, apparently, yeah, below her elbows she has no arms. I guess you can't really see it just from looking at her. I guess you can look at the look at the burns. I assume these are like burn scars, so that's why she was involved in some sort of fire-related accidents. I assume the fire of collapse. But well, good thing she's alive though. Triss as well had not remained unscathed. The smoke from the prismatic flames of that day has stripped him of his voice, rendering him mute. Oh, so he's mute. It seems like it's not as obvious when you look at him, but I guess that's what he got what's the word? Afflicted? Yeah, that's the word. Afflicted with, apparently, which makes me wonder fire collapse. I mean, her condition's obvious, but him being mute because of fire? Wonder if there's a explanation for that. Anyway, they were heavy scars, yet they never seemed to weigh down the Lyra twins. Always on the move, with new things happening in their presence all the time, it made me want to continue watching them, to see where they go, and where they might take me. Wow, spring's really showing its full colors early this year. Wandering over to a wayside willow, Lorona marvels at the bed of flowers nestled under its eaves. Well, you're not lasagna anymore, you're back to being Lorona. I know. Over here, Noletta, or I know. That's how I should have said that. Lorona waves Noletta over after picking several flowers from a particular bountiful batch. I'm gonna teach you something nice, so listen up. Taking Noletta's hands in hers, Lorona threads a flower between her fingertips. One way to show people you care about them is to place a flower in their hair, like this. Gently handling Noletta's hand, Lorona guides the flower up and through her carroty locks. Carroty locks, what an interesting way to describe her hair. Get it? After examining her newly changed appearance for a bit, Noletta nods. If you understand, then show me. Lorona entrusts the rest of the flowers to Noletta with a smile. After gazing at the flowers for a while, Noletta seems to come to some sort of conclusion. Kalia, Triss, I care about you. You don't have to listen to everything Lorona tells you, you know. In contrast to Kalia's flustered reaction, Triss expressing himself with a heartfelt bow as if he had been graced by an angel. I guess it's my turn next. As Noletta reaches out with the last remaining flower, though, I'm cast with a spell of whimsy. At the last moment, I tilt my head to the side, causing her to miss. Evasion! Noletta attempts to place the flower on my head again, but I pull away again once more. You won't let me? Nope. Let me. Undeterred, Noletta tries to put the flower in my hair again. Noletta can be quite stubborn at times, but I just don't feel like letting her have her way. The last remaining flower, Okay, fine. With a shrug, I stop moving and keep still. But just as she's about to thread the stem through my hair, I pluck it out of her hand, reaching up and setting it upon her snow-white tresses instead. Pickpocketing 100. Putting a finger to her lips, I stick my tongue out at her. Gotcha! I smile and wink triumphantly. Oh no, she looks pretty upset. Well, a pale white flower suits you far more than me anyways. After puzzling over my words for a moment, Noletta nods quietly to herself. I need to find a flower that suits Aid. How sad. It seems there are any flowers left around here already ready for the picking. I'm going ahead. Wait, Triss still needs help carrying his stuff. But Lynetta doesn't seem to hear. Hey, Kalia, could one of you lend us a hand? Exchanging a glance with me, Kalia dangles her empty sleeves with a shrug before skipping off ahead. I mean, well, yeah, fair enough. Well, this calls for immediate, evasive action. You got this, Mrs. Lorana. Bye! Snapping my index fingers at her. Give her some finger guns. I turn on my heels and bolt. Hey! Don't only pull the big sis card when it's convenient. Upon catching up to Kalia's side, I slow to a stroll. As if in agreement that we had witnessed nothing, the two of us mosey along in silent solidarity. Though I have to say, it's pretty funny how good of a mood Noletta's simple act has put Kalia in. You know, it's not just Noletta. Bending forward to get a good angle on her face, I gaze into Kalia's eyes. I care about you too. Well, shut up. To the side, baka. I'm not stupid, you're just trying to tease me again like you always do. You're such a little troll. How dare you? I'm a sweet young girl. Still though, I wonder why this always seems to happen. Up ahead, Noletta was poking through the bushes in search of flowers. Her flower quest continues. And they're pulling up all the extra weight. Far behind, Lorona and Triss were floundering around under the weight of their cargo. Under the promise of budding trees, we once again failed to travel to school as a proper group of 5. Here is school. I guess, I don't know, again, I'm looking at the scenery in the world. It really looks like, it seems to be anyway, like a small village, you know, because there's just a lot of empty fields. They probably, I mean, I mentioned before, Lorona works as an artisan? What was it? I forgot what exactly she did, but she works as like a merchant, I guess, like a, what do you call it? Someone that makes stuff, like a craftsman, I guess, yeah. So I assume again this is like a fantasy medieval style village, but also has modern conveniences for whatever reason. You know, just looking at it here, right? It's like this sort of like traditional style house or traditional style building, but also has like modern lamps for whatever reason. So I really wonder what is this world exactly? They mentioned like the fire of collapse. You know, maybe I was thinking maybe it was just an isolated incident, you know, in this like small village or small city, small town. I don't know, but maybe affected the entire world, right? And this is the aftermath. Maybe my theory is like maybe it's like a post-apocalyptic sort of situation going on here. You know, society is still recovering from like a big collapse and. But they still have like modern conveniences because that's what they dug up from the old world and they're still using it now, maybe? I'm guessing? Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just making that up. Well, despite our morning antics, we somehow managed to arrive at school early. Upon entering the one classroom building, an array of empty desks meet us, save for one. Yeah, one classroom building. It reminds me of Nanan Biori again, for a different reason, but yeah. A one classroom kind of like school often is because there's like a small population, right? Because usually when you think of like a normal school in like a town or a city, there are like multiple grades, right? For each age of children, but if it only has one classroom, or it only needs one classroom, then the obvious conclusion you can make is the fact that it's a small place, right? There's only a few people anyway, but they might as well put everyone in one classroom. I think. Yeah. Assuming. Amidst the illuminating light of early morning, she was there. A young woman whose presence held a mysterious allure to it. With immaculate form and perfect posture, she sat unmoving at one of the far side desks. It looks pretty fancy. Good morning, Irwana. Or Irwina? Or Irwina? Or Irwina? Irwina? Good morning, Irwina. Hey, Irwina. Hello, Aid. Kalia. Angling her head in our direction, Irwina returns her greeting with a vague nod. While I knew Irina was the oldest student at our school, okay, so she's a student. She looks kind of like a teacher as well, but I guess she's more of a student. It was difficult to get a good read on her age or how her eyes were always bandaged over. I wonder why. Maybe because of, again, the fire of collapse, maybe? A flower that suits Aid. I couldn't find one. We made it. It kind of is a little cruel to make them carry everything. You know, you didn't want to help them at all? Come on. Friends don't help friends. Oh well. Naleta, Lorona, and Tristan as well. As if taking his cue, Tris summarily keels over and kisses the ground. Oh, don't mind him. That's just Tris being the usual drama queen. I don't know. I see. I see. So desu. Something felt different about Arena today. He felt absent-minded, her responses subdued, lacking their usual self-possessed weight. Is something troubling you, Irwana? Irwana? How you say it? I don't know. Irwana? Okay, I might need to check Google again, because I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. Irwana? Irwina? Google. Help. Irwina.
Erwina.
Irwina. No, that's Polish, no.
Irwina.
Irwina? That's English, man?
Irwina. Irwina.
Apparently, according to Google, her name is Irwina. Irwina? 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 Because, excuse me. I drank some water, actually. My throat's getting dry from trying to pronounce her name. More water. I get very thirsty when reading visual novels. Understandably so. Irwina. Irwina? Irwina? I'm gonna say Irwina, because I recognize Irwin. I know a character named Irwin in like anime. In particular, Attack on Titan, there's a character named Irwin. So adding an A maybe makes it feminine. So Irwina? Irwina? Maybe? Irwina? It sounds right to me saying Irwina. I don't know. I'm gonna say Irwina. Irwina. Is something troubling you, Irwina? Now that I think about it, wasn't it odd she was sitting back here at this back row desk? Feel free to tell us about it. I love to meddle, you know. You're quite perceptive, aren't you, Aid? With a light chuckle, Erwina traces her finger across the surface of the desk before her. It's true that I have something in mind. As you may know, none of these desks in the back row are currently in use. Everyone occupies some spot in the world in terms of space and resources. However, it's not as though the school is lacking in those. Even though the possibility of filling those vacancies exists, it remains unrealized. Erwina's idle hand motions come to a stop, her voice taking on a mysterious tone. You're making such a big deal out of just using, like, school desks. I don't know. It's a strange feeling. This feeling that where someone could be, there is no one. Where someone could be, there is no one. Erwina's words conjure a certain image in my mind's eye. An image of her sitting here, lost in thought, all alone, thinking perhaps of the absent warmth of someone who had been here with us today had the cards fallen differently. Someone who would have been here with us today. I mean, the implication here being that someone died? Someone we knew died in the little tragic fire, incident? Maybe? Sorry, Erwina, but there might be less space in the school than you think. If you look in the desks back here, you'll find they're all stuffed to the brim with books. Seems like the hoard of some hopeless bibliophile. So yeah, you might not actually have any room for new students. What the heck? If we don't get any new classmates because Aid's such a bookworm, I'm gonna be mad. At least, apparently likes to read books. Well, at least my books don't sell me out. I suppose it would get rather cramped given how lively it already gets around here. I will probably have to report the troublemaker using school property without permission, though. Take me away, officer. I jest, of course. Schools are for learning, after all. It's senseless to hit the hen for laying eggs. Now that I think of it, though, the 5 of you are here quite early today. Oh, that's right. We're really pumped up for today's competition. Is, Mrs. Naru not here yet? Or Miss Naro? It appears Larona's attempts to resuscitate her fallen comrade have not been bearing fruit. Well, rest in peace. Worry not. Father will be arriving shortly. Okay, so her father is a teacher. And that's right. Though a student in name, it is more accurate to say Erwina taught alongside her father, if anything. Oh, okay, so yeah, she's, I guess, more like a student-teacher type. Oh? Long have I awaited the day my students arrive early, such is their enthusiasm to learn. Mr. Naro, or Naro, Mr. Naro, I assume is like a Japanese pronunciation. Naro, an eccentric individual who had constructed this school using his own fortune in the wake of the Fire of Collapse. Yeah, Fire of Collapse. I'm gonna keep mentioning that's probably an important event that happened that have somehow affected everyone, probably, in the story. Maybe, actually I'm wondering, maybe that's the reason we keep getting these golden dreams? Because of the Fire of Collapse? Anyway. The fact that he even personally taught was a testament to his dedication to the next generation. I still remember his baffling self-introduction upon meeting everyone at the beginning of the school year. Naro can be interpreted to mean white wings of learning. If it's difficult for you to understand, you may refer to me as Mr. Naro for now. Just like on that first day, our enigmatic teacher was casually toting around a gargantuan valise. I doubt anyone has my morning lark over here beat in terms of getting up at god-awful hours, though. Parting with one's bed sheets isn't a Herculean ordeal for everyone, Mr. Night Owl. Smiling wryly, Erwina? Okay, I think I said Erwina before. I don't know. I'm just messing up my pronunciation. I'm just not familiar with her name. Erwina. Erwina? Erwina? Erwina. Erwina. Erwina rises to assist Mr. Naro with unpacking the valise's contents. Valises? Actually, I'm not familiar with this word. Valises? Valise? Actually, what is it? I have no idea. Time to go to Google. This is like a Google time playthrough where I just go on Google a lot and look at definitions. Because new words keep popping up. I don't know how to pronounce. I don't know what it is. It's a suitcase. Oh, okay. It's a small traveling suitcase. I never saw the word before though.
Valise.
Valise. Okay, it's a valise. It's like a little like suitcase you pull on, and there's usually like wheels. Well, again, another like modern convenience. I don't think they existed in medieval times. Though she generally relies on a retractable rod to navigate, I've noticed that sometimes she just doesn't seem to need it. I guess she's just familiar with the building. I wonder how she does it. That thing sure is living up to its reputation as a bottomless black hole, isn't it? You watch on as the valise palpably shrinks as it is released from its bulging payload. Is this for the construction competition? It would look like a disassembled table and the components of a board game had been laid out before us. About that, I have decided to postpone the bridge building contest until tomorrow. What? Nani? We will be having a lecture on the history of Catan instead, with these materials serving as a visual aid. No, it can't be true. It was all in vain. Blech. She dies. Because Triss and Lerona were the ones to carry everything, you know, the bridge building materials and stuff, all the way to the school, and there was no point. But, well, I mean, I assume, again, this is like a small village or small town. They could just leave the materials here, right? They don't need to bring it back or anything. Or, for tomorrow. Letting out a strange cry, Lerona sinks to the ground with a soft thwomp. The floors seem to be quite the popular resting spot today. Aid, I don't have to use your materials. Though she probably means to say something along the lines of, it's good I don't have to impose on you again, I decided to misinterpret it. I see. I knew this day would come. You've finally grown sick and tired of me and my shoddy materials. Oh, woe is me. I understand, Noletta. I'm just not good enough for you anymore. Even then, I never imagined it would hurt this much to get discarded and forgotten. Wiping at my eyes, I sniffle and lower my gaze. We really are a little troll, aren't we? It's not like I wanted you to use my materials or anything, Baka. Aid, I'll use your materials, so don't be sad. She looked like she was about to cry. There was actually tears in her eyes. You're so devoted, Noletta. Unable to contain myself, I giggle as I reach out to pinch her in the cheek. She makes some weird noises, but doesn't try to resist as I play with her face. We will wait for several more students to arrive before commencing class. Okay, so there's some more students. Our class had around 12 regular students in total. Okay, so we have 5 right now, I think. Or, well, 6, I guess, right? Yeah. Since it has such a wide age range, lessons could fluctuate from learning basic language one day to advanced science the next. Fortunately, the school was well equipped for dealing with its unique circumstances. I guess that's one of the perks of being funded by a wealthy teacher. Those of us still standing kill some time, poking at Lerona and Triss before class finally begins, poking at the corpses. Now then, without further ado, let us begin the lecture on Cata's history. Again, is it Socotrin or Socotrine? I assume Socotrine is the world we live in right now. Again, I don't know, is it the city, is it a town, is it a village, or is it the entire world? Actually, I don't know if they mentioned exactly what Socotrine is, or maybe I forgot. I think, actually, I'm thinking back, maybe at least mentioned that before. She said something along the lines, the outside world of Socotrine, or Socotrine. Socotrine. I'm gonna say, I've been saying Socotrine. Socotrine. Socotrine sounds cooler, I think. I don't know why. I'm gonna say Socotrine instead now. Oh, it's Settlers of Catan. Amazing. The entire class was gathered around what could only be described as an oversized board game. Mr. Naro always had an unorthodox style of teaching. Conventional teaching tends to lean towards fixed methods and rote memorization, but Mr. Naro was fond of something he called divergent thinking. Oh, that's cool. I think, this guy is a cool teacher. As much as he tries to dress it up, though, I'm pretty sure he just gets bored easily. Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe he just likes to play. Oh, Lemmy? Is this a map of Socotrine? Indeed, it's far from accurate in terms of scale, but this board game has been laid out to simulate Socotrine's basic layout. Overall, Socotrine can be divided broadly into 5 areas. The okay, there's gonna be a lot of Kyorntora? Kyantora? Charntora? Chira. I have no idea how to pronounce this. This is not a real word, I don't think. Chyorntora? Or maybe a very obscure word, I don't know. I've never heard it, I've never seen it before. Chyorntora Plains, the urban core, the greater and lower Padavelt Highlands, and the muted forests of the east. Okay. So I guess some world building. So there is, I guess, a city, I guess, right? So this is urban, so I assume there's like a big city in the middle. The plains, apparently. The core, the greater highlands, the forests in the east. I wonder where we are. I assume we're on the outskirts, maybe? No, because there is like a big plains, right? With a wave of his pointing stick, Mr. Naro redirects our attention to the blank boundary surrounding the hexes. One of Socotrine's most distinguishing features is the dense wall of unnavigable mist that surrounds us and separates it from the outside unknown lands. Yeah, okay, so Socotrine is our world, apparently. Apparently there's mist that surrounds it. Video game mist, video game invisible wall mist, where you can't leave the world. Apparently. Suki? Mr. Naro, what are the board game pieces supposed to be? Well, you can think of the boxes as population concentration indicators and the cylinders as major industrial centers. Okay. So these are just like, I assume, just houses, buildings, and the circles, the cylinders anyway, are like places where people gather resources, I guess? Like farms. I assume maybe there's like a mining operation maybe over here in the mountains or highlands, I guess. Actually, what are highlands? I don't know what highlands are actually. I see it all the time. I assume highlands means there's like mountains, right? Hills and mountains and rocks, sort of. And this one's close to the forest, apparently. So I assume this is where they cut trees, whatnot. The big piece in the center represents the heart of Socotrine's infrastructure, the capital city of Socotra. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a big city. So there's a big city. I guess we haven't seen it yet, though. Aid, where do we live? Probably around here somewhere. Oh, okay, we live here, apparently. Oh, so, okay, so we don't really live in a population. I guess, yeah, the little, like rectangles over here are population centers, but we don't really live in those population centers. We actually live quite far away. So we do live in a little village, but Socotrine refers to their entire world, which might not be the entire world, I guess, but their entire world. Because again, apparently there is a big mist that surrounds them, some sort of like magical mist that isolates them in this world. That sounds familiar, an isolating world. I wonder if there's any foreshadowing there. Okay. As for the school, it's likely near here. Okay, yeah, that's a school. Aid, maps are really amazing. What do you mean? They show you the world like you're high in the sky, even though nobody's been in the sky before. Nobody's been in the sky before? There's birds, right? Or does she mean human beings? Does this world doesn't have airplanes? I mean, it would make sense, because no one wants to leave, I assume, the mist. Because if you try to leave the mist, I guess you get stuck, or you can never come back. I can only assume. But yeah. And then if everyone's just stuck living here, I assume, or at least content, either they're content living here, or they just simply can't leave, then why would you build airplanes, right? Because there's no point. That's not true. I've been in the sky before, you know. Really? Wow. You shouldn't believe everything Age says, Noletta. This is in the year 195, right? I was born in 194. But yeah, okay, this is interesting. Lorona just mentioned this right here. Like, we're in the year 195. That's interesting. So the world has only started like about two centuries ago, apparently. A bit less than that. So again, my hypothesis that there was like some sort of like tragedy that apparently isolated this population of people into this part of the world. Again, some sort of post-apocalyptic sort of situation here going on. I don't know. That is correct. The current board state reflects the state of Sorry, more water. More water. Hopefully I'm not getting sick. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd rather not be sick. Being sick means I won't be able to stream and stuff, right? Because I need to, like, talk, you know, or stuff when I read stuff aloud. If I get sick, you know, get a stuffy nose or sore throat, I won't be able to use the power of my mouth to read stuff and talk. Kind of necessary. Kind of want to talk while I play video games. That's the point of doing like pseudo like let's plays ish type videos and streaming, live stream stuff. Anyway, that is correct. The current board state reflects the state of Catan 15 years ago, when it was ruled by the old aristocracy. That's how you say it? I know what it... Oh, sometimes the words... I know what words sometimes mean, but I don't know how to pronounce it sometimes. Aristocracy, right? Yeah. So apparently 15 years ago, there were kings and queens and nobles? So Catan was in the process of recovering from a period of famine and plague when the Master's Revolution occurred. Okay. This is just like right after there was like a revolution. Annabelle, the Master's Revolution was when people from unknown lands came, right? From the unknown lands? They came from the mist? Yes, Catan had long been aware of the existence of the unknown lands from artifacts that washed up on Eviget's northern banks. However, 195 marked the first time that actual people came from beyond the mist. In 195, a convoy of people describing themselves as refugees from a devastated land sailed down the river Eviget and made a contact with Catan for the first time. Though the old aristocracy welcomed the refugees at first, they eventually began to suspect that the convoy would attempt a coup. Mustering all of Catan's military might, the old aristocracy attempted to preemptively capture the refugees. However, they were soundly routed by the refugees' convoy's elite combat unit, the Lost Children. In what came to be known as the Master's Revolution, the old aristocracy was overthrown, and the leader of the Lost Children, the refugee convoy, the Valorian Master, was installed as Catan's sovereign ruler. Is it any different than the old aristocracy, or is this just a new aristocracy, you know, or just new kings, new queens, new emperors? Is it true? Is it true the Valorian Master was a girl? The Valorian Master was indeed female, though it would be more accurate to call her a woman than a girl. I heard she was a genius swordmaster who took down a squad of Catan's finest all by herself. There are rumors her units annihilated entire armies back when she was in unknown lands. Sounds like she was pretty good at bashing heads, but was the Valorian Master a good ruler? Well, in regards to that, let us jump ahead to the year 200. Yeah, okay. More history lessons. Mr. Naro takes the opportunity to make adjustments to the board state before continuing. Okay, more population centers. The 5 years that followed the Master's Revolution are often considered the golden age in Sokotrani history. Oh, okay, so I was thinking, you know, people from a foreign land coming and causing a revolution, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, apparently it's not so bad, because it seems like society has thrived since then. Drawing from the advanced technology, expertise, and knowledge the refugee convoy brought with them, Sokotrin underwent a period of rapid innovation and reform. And I need to blow my nose again. Hold on. So that's interesting. So this is, yeah, okay, I was wondering. Yeah, okay, that explains it. That explains the lore. Why there's like a sort of like mix between medieval fantasy and modern conveniences. It's because in 195, it was just like a what do you call it? Like there's a word for it. I don't know what you call it, but like nobles and peasants, basically, you know, and farmlands and whatnot. So it was really just like a medieval style society until foreigners came from a different land and brought with them like the knowledge and technology of what we have now, like in, I guess, in present time. So that's why there is like a mix of like old style houses and modern technology. That explains it. At least in this world, anyway. Mortality rates plummeted as contemporary medical science made its debut, and birth rates skyrocketed as socioeconomic living standards improved. However, that all came to a stop when the Fire of Collapse happened. Okay, Fire of Collapse. Oh no. I guess, yeah, some places over here got burned up, apparently. A solemn silence took over the room as Mr. Naro set about making major modifications to the board. I had been born shortly after the Fire of Collapse, so I had no memories of the event, but there's no doubt it had been a dark time in Sokotrine's history. In August of 200, for reasons that are not known, the shroud of mist that usually only surrounds Sokotrine's borders warped and covered the sky. I don't know. Prismatic flames of unknown properties rained down from the mist, laying waste to major swaths of Sokotrine's landscape. The area below Evjit's southern banks suffered serious damage in particular, transforming into unrecognizable wasteland. Oh, look at all the boxes that disappeared. Yeah, there used to be population here, but now it got destroyed. I remember. If you got burned by that rainbow fire, you had to get special treatment or else. The refugees of 195 had experienced a similar disaster in the unknown lands, so they were able to provide limited care, but there were too many victims to avoid a great loss of life. The Fire of Collapse did not mark the end of 200, though. In 195, the Valorian Master had taken on a single Sokotroni pupil following her rise to power. Shortly after the Fire of Collapse, that pupil challenged the Valorian Master to single combat, defeating her and claiming the title of Sokotrine's sovereign ruler as his own. Oh, the rule of two? He continues to rule Sokotrine to this day. We know him now as Lord Cecil Cotard. Cecil? Oh, Cecil, that's her dad. Hey, that's your daddy, right? Yeah, that's my pops, alright. Oh, he must have been crazy strong to defeat the Valorian Master. I've always wondered what kind of relationship Papa had with his master. A Sith Lord relationship, you know? I just don't understand. For what reason did Papa feel compelled to usurp the Valorian Master? Unfortunately, there is not much insight I can offer in that matter. It is true, though, that Lord Cotard has largely carried on his master's legacy in terms of policy. Well, that just made things more confusing, yeah. Like, why did you want to rule when you're just putting in the same policies anyway? It's not much of a revolution, really. You just want to be king? I don't know. And then again, even when he was king, we just see him normally at home, and he's just, he just cooks, and then it's like he's not exactly living in a in a life of luxury or anything. So why be king? Why be the ruler or anything like that? The pieces simply weren't lining up. Naturally, there were some that opposed Lord Kotor's succession. Unconvinced that the inexperienced young Kotor could leave Sokotran in his weakened state, the remnants of the old aristocracy took the opportunity to attempt an uprising. However, having also inherited the leadership of the lost children, Lord Kotor crushed the uprising, scattering his opposition and consolidating his rule. It is now that we last arrived the current day of 210. Oh, okay. The wasteland that was here turned into pretty flowers. Huh. Sokotran's reconstruction have been a slow and steady process, but has been helped along by several unexpected boons. Though I mentioned before how the fire collapse had mysterious properties, one particularly unusual effect it's had can be observed in what used to be the southern wastelands. It is believed the ashes of the rainbow fire nourished the soil somehow, as the land has recovered at an alarming rate, blooming into what is known now as Evigit's Garden. Yeah. It's scary how pretty that place is. Many townspeople avoid it because they're afraid of the unfamiliar types of flowers that blossom there. Yeah, I mean, the rainbow fire apparently it either kills you or gives you some strange effects, So I wonder, does the flowers do the same to you? In any case, that concludes my lecture. Erwina will now take over for any questions that you may have. Passing the helm to Erwina, Mr. Naut retreats to his desk for a breather. I've been curious about this for a while, but don't the refugees from the unknown lands have a name for the place they came from? Oh, that is a delicate topic. It's something of a taboo for the refugees of 195 to speak the name of their homeland. It is believed that for many of them, the name of their homeland is synonymous with atrocity. As such, they are often simply referred to as ULs. ULs or ULs? Unknown lands? In that case, what about the Valoran Master? What was her name before she assumed her title? The Valoran Master is a big enigma even today. Her real name is likely something only members of Lost Children know. I see. Perhaps I should ask Papa, Mr. Damalor sometime. Mr. Damalor. Who is Mr. Damalor? He was mentioned before. I don't know who he is. Well, that's all the questions I have for now. Surrendering the floor to the other students, I wander over the classroom windows, lost in thought. Sokotran's closed world dilemma. There has only been one recorded instance of anyone successfully traversing the boundary of mist that encircles Sokotran's borders. The Valoran Master. How did she lead the refugee convoy to Sokotran? I couldn't help but feel it was a key piece to the puzzle that I've yearned to solve for as long as I can remember. Not enough. Still not enough. Why do you want to know the key to that puzzle? You want to escape at least? For whatever reason? When I come back to myself, I find a class is in the midst of a lunch break. Wandering over to our usual group's island of desks, I've met with a pleasant surprise. Rowena had pulled her desk over as well, bringing our count up to a total of 6. Rowena usually eats with her father at his insistence, but it seems our capricious teacher was taking a nap, having gobbling up his lunch during the Q&A session. I take my seat and miss an already continuing conversation. Nestor went Trish toying this man. What? I see. Are you and Triss planning to do anything special for your 12th birthday? Newfound respect wells up inside me at Ruina's ability to comprehend Kalia's incoherent gabbling. Yeah, I couldn't tell what she was saying. Gotta swallow before you talk. Kalia wasn't very fond of being fed by other people. As such, it was not uncommon for her unintelligible garbling to leave her mouth as she went about stuffing her lunch with her face. I guess literally. Even after the Second Great Food War, may the casualties of that dark time rest in peace, Second Great Food War, we only ever gained the right to clean her face after a meal. While not as animated as Kalia, watching Arena eat was also an interesting experience. The manner in which she confirmed the position of her lunchbox, selected an article of food by its relative remaining proportion, and brought it levelly to her mouth was like clockwork. Yeah, interesting. I guess, yeah, she can't exactly see the lunchbox, but I guess she memorizes where the food is and then eats it appropriately. And now, sure. Maybe when I was visiting Organ's Garden. Geez, Kalia, don't I always tell you not to talk with your mouth full? Invis Garden, though, huh? That's a wonderful spot to go for your birthday. Could it be somehow I'm the abnormal one for having no clue what Kalia's saying? Yeah, well, I don't know either, at least. As she alternates between chatisement? Chatisement? I don't know how to say that, actually. She alternates between scolding and casual conversation. Lerona picks out a tasty-looking morsel from Tristan's lunchbox. Since the five of us always share our lunch together, we had a habit of taking from each other without restraint. Okay. It was something we did without even thinking about it. Sort of like impromptu potluck. Sort of. So it wasn't hard to understand why our guest, Rina, froze in shock when her spoon suddenly encountered Tristan's fork scrounging around her lunchbox. Oh no, don't do that. Eh? Huh? Now, what are you doing, Twish? Don't just poking into Rina's lunch without her permission. A brutal kick from Kalia to some undefined location, oof, under the desk causes Triss to spray a mouthful of his lunch all over an unfortunate Lerona. Ah! What's happening? You'll have to forgive us, Irwina. We're all accustomed to sharing our food with each other. I guess Triss couldn't resist upon seeing how tasty your food looked. Oh, is that so? Irwina pauses for a second as she considers my words. In that case, allow me to sample what you brought as well. A well-meaning smile rises to her lips as she pushes her lunchbox forward, signaling it's fine to take from her. Her invitation, the five of us had always been curious about the palate of rich people, eagerly dig in. Oh, she's rich? I guess so. She does have like fancy clothing. Well, aren't we rich too? Like, I assume Alice is also rich because, well, her father is the ruler of this whole society. You know, now that I think about it, maybe actually when I compare Atlas's home to the rest of the people in this Socotrine society, I was thinking maybe like they weren't all that rich, but maybe I'm comparing it to, you know, real life actually. You know, the fact that they have a stove and the house is like just like a, well, I say normal. It's not that normal. It's a pretty like good house. It's like a good quality house in real life terms. So actually, they are pretty rich relatively when you think about it. They don't live like in a mansion or anything, but they have all the modern conveniences at home. And when you think about it, Alice and his dad is actually, they seem pretty rich actually, relatively to everyone else. Because I assume everyone else just lives in like old traditional style buildings, and probably with some, you know, modern tools, but not all of it. So they might not have like a kitchen or a stove, you know? Maybe. I'm guessing. I'm not sure though. We haven't seen other people's houses in this society yet, so I'm not sure. But anyway. Wow, it's so delicious. I didn't know you were such a good chef, Rowena. Hey Trish, stop stuffing yourself and give me some of that bourgeoisie goodie. Yeah. Eat the rich. Naturally, Kalia didn't seem to have any issue accepting aid when it came to jacking the best parts of a meal. Come on, Nalena, open up! You can't just eat nothing but pasta all day. Well, I don't know, pasta is pretty tasty. Say ah? No? Eat! You must eat! But she will not. I poke at Nolana's mouth with a spoonful of Rowena's lunch until she reluctantly parts her lips. Getting this child to eat something other than pasta could often be quite the struggle. After ensuring that Naletta would be safe from malnutrition for another day, I have a sample of my own. Well, this is what Rowena ate. Though it was certainly tasty, something seemed a bit off about it. Just to clarify, I didn't make any of this. It gets a bit chaotic when I'm in the kitchen. As if recalling a silly memory, Rowena shakes her head. Of course, Father didn't make it either. With measured movements of Rowena probes through the lunchboxes we have placed in front of her for easy access. Well, how do you fancy the dishes of commoners, my lady? Yeah, she's making a joke right now, at least saying that we're all commoners in front of Rowena. So again, are we rich or are we not? I don't know. It's hard to tell. Is Alice like part of the bourgeoisie? How do you say that? Part of the rich people. Are they rich or they're not? I don't know. Refreshingly proletarian, if I might say. Why, I simply must have more. I really am quite fond of your lunches, though. How do I describe it? It feels like they were somehow made with warmth. I much prefer them to my own. Indeed, though the taste was on point, somehow, Rowena's lunch didn't feel very filling. It was strange. Is it like a magic lunch, you know? Or maybe not. Because I'm thinking, why wouldn't food be filling? Maybe it's like... I don't know. Maybe it's like food that's made to be very like vitamin rich, you know? Those sorts of foods, but like not very like filling, right? Not like calories in it or something, I don't know. I'm glad you like it. Feel free to eat again with us anytime. You know, if you ever find your pops snoozing through lunch again, you're welcome to hang out with the cool kids. Yeah, we're the cool kids. Everyone else has well, we have like character sprites and everything. The other kids don't. So we're the cool kids. We are important to the story. Haha. I really don't know what she's saying. I can't translate that. Meanwhile, the Lyric twins try to play it cool as they rapidly clean Rowena's lunchbox of its contents. Thumbs up. You have my gratitude. Let us rendezvous in the future again sometime. A simple act of sharing one's food with others makes it tastier, after all. Can't wait until tomorrow, though. Me and Trish spent all night yesterday studying up on bridges. There's no way we'll lose. Oh yeah, the competition. Not happening today, but it'll happen tomorrow. I wonder what they're building, though. They're making, like... I assume is they're either making, like toy bridges, you know? Like, or right, not toy, but like a model bridge, you know? Or are they making an actual bridge? You know? I don't know what they would make have the actual bridge like for. Maybe the river? Be a pretty big bridge.